to the Poke Battle Network. Today we're going to be talking about the regional recap of Lille. That's right, this France tradition now, our local, I don't know, we keep going back to it. It's wonderful to come back to these cities and see what battlers show up with and how they've grown, because this tournament had 176 amazing talented battlers show up and bring out the very best. We saw some incredible spice Pokemon, and we saw a meta that looked very similar to what we've seen before. We're going to dive into the 12 top Pokemon that were used in the day 1 and also the day 2. And then we're also going to take a look at the top, and we're going to get a rundown of the championships run from HurricaneKaz. Right now, we're going to jump into that top 12 meta and see what Pokemon, Medicham, should still be on top, Medicham, and if you should have that Medicham on your lineup. Taking a look at day 1 here of the top 12 of Lille, and lo and behold, King Medicham still representing the meta here. The top Pokemon usually sitting in the 70 percentile, like now in the 85 percentile. That means out of 176 battlers, 100 of these battlers absolutely brought the Medicham, plus some. That is crazy. This Pokemon has been so dominant. Again, if you have not built your Medicham, get on it. It looks like the top 6 have also kind of solidified themselves now. You got the Lantern, the Lickitung again, 1 and 2 and 3 right there with that Medicham. This core right here allows you to play with some other Pokemon. We've got Superior, Gligar, and Umbreon as the back 3 of the top 6 here, and they are definitely tanks, and they provide that coverage against the top 3 Pokemon you see there. So that's why these top 6 are actually a really great core. If you're looking to build a team and just play with a team, this team right here is something you should try to strive and build, because it is absolutely great coverage, helps you with the play of generalizing for that top 6. But never fear, that bottom 6 as well, we've seen them before numerous amounts of times, like that Ace Slash, that Frostlass. Frostlass is now making her name known. She's now just become a staple here. We got Registeel again, bringing that steel typing. Really the only second real steel typing out there, right? Swampert has been making a name as its top generalist there. But then you see we've got Venusaur and Mandibuzz. Unlike the Sableye Charizard combo from the Sacramento that we just watched in NA, this is a Venusaur Mandibuzz. So they're leaning more here in the EU towards the Mandibuzz meta. Believe we saw a Shadow Ball Mandibuzz. That was really fun. And then Venusaur as well, putting on a lot of pressure with that Frenzy Plant. A great Pokemon there, and has a great move against that Superior. But it was definitely all about the move sets here, as we saw, like I said, a Shadow Ball Mandibuzz pop off and a Leaf Tornado Superior popping off. There are also Alolan Sandslashes rocking those Powder Snows more often than we did, and the Medicham came swinging with Dynamic Punch numerous amounts of times. It seems like the meta is still, when it comes to movesets, really interesting. You can definitely, it is not steady where it looks steady on paper. There are ways that battlers are finding win conditions on movesets, which makes the ruling again on showing the moveset even more disheartening, because battlers are having such great success on whether or not their baits are coming out or not. We saw that there were 16 battlers that advanced from day 1 into day 2. We're going to take a look at the day 2 here and what these 16 battlers, as you see, again, 100% Medicham. That means in the last 3 regionals, we have seen every top battler bringing Medicham. Again, please be building your Medichams, be walking with it, get those XL Pokemon, get that candy, get those candies. I believe Meditite was just out there. If you have some, trade away to get extra candy. Any way to get Medicham into your lineup, it is absolutely the must-have. Lickitung and Lantern again right there. We see Superior here. We see a little bit of a switch. We see Frostlass taking up the top, and Gligar still in the 6 here, where Umbreon got kicked to the top 12. that is real interesting because Umbreon is so used as a great generalist, but it doesn't look like it's having as great as coverage with that Mandibuzz out there in this matchup. I'm saying that's interesting for Lille because I believe Umbreon had a better success in day 2 of Sacramento because there was no Mandibuzz besides one Mandibuzz, which was Doombug. That was it. There wasn't a 25% of Mandibuzz out there. Doombug hadn't shown it off yet. But now it is shown, and people saw that it was great and wonderful play throughout the entire tournament. Throwing off the Dark Pulses, again, having a Shadow Ball Mandibuzz as well. Threw some battlers off. One shooting the Medichams out of this existence. I do have to make a nod for the day 2 because that Alolan Sandslash was so good with Powder Snow, and the Leaf Tornado, you definitely saw the shine of Galax when he played his style of gameplay out there. Not to mention Elephant when he brought in Carbink and brought it to his play style again. That was so great. We saw Carbink get to the grand finals finally, but it is not a top Pokemon. It is unreal how this Pokemon is just out there, and we just either we don't see it in the top and it is now shining really well, or we see it in the top but no one brings it, doesn't do really well in the tournament. The Carbink though really did a good number here with 2 battlers, bringing it to the final 16 for day 2. Really liked it. Like, you know, it is what it is. It's another rock. It's a tank. It's gonna have to play, especially with Mandibuzz out there. I'm not surprised Carbink did so well this tournament. With the rise of the Mandibuzz and of the Umbreon, Carbink really had a great shining moment. Little side note here, the Magnezone. Oh my goodness. Martine, you make me gush so hard. There's nothing better than watching a Spice Battler bring out their play style and show you how good it is. Now, Martine Inadequate brings out this Shadow Magnezone, and with the Volt Switch now can do tons and tons of damage. With the meta as it is, Martine builds this great team. It's not even a crazy looking team. There's nothing crazy about this team, but there's a Shadow Magnezone which we don't see. And you know, like, with counter out there is crazy. Why would you do that? Gets to 3rd place with it. Rocks everybody with these Volt Switches. Hits these Wild Charges. He's definitely played with his line and definitely played his play style. It was absolutely electric to watch him play. Every time he came on, I was so like intrigued on how this Magnezone was gonna play out, because you knew even if he didn't bring it into that matchup, his opponent had to think about this. It had to play, and he was not afraid to play it. We saw it twice do really well on day 2, as we will talk about that, but a big giant nod there to Inadequate for bringing this Magnezone. Looking at this meta again, I am still very impressed by Umbreon and Superior. Both of these Pokemon have shown with their tenacity to really open up the meta, and again with the Lickitung, Lantern, and Medicham core, putting those 2 on allow you to play a great 6 Pokemon, right? We saw some Alolan Ninetales pop up, Shadow Dragonite in day 2, Talonflame snuck through, some Guzzlords, definitely some Guzzlords came out, some great Toxapex play, and some great Nidoqueen play. So great job by all those battlers there, as we're gonna now look into day 2. Looking at the teams that made it to the top 8 of day 2. Now, day 2 had the top 16 because this 176 battler tournament had so many amazing battles going on that they had to get the 16 into day 2. But we're going to be looking at the top 8 teams here, as we see 100% of the Medichams on every team, as you see there. Tons of Lanterns, still one of the strong cores. Lots of Lickitungs we're noticing popping up. Let's see the things that are sneaking through now. Look at this. Superior is on 7 of the 8 final teams. That's right, 7 of the 8 final teams had Superior. The graphic earlier was the day 2, which had all 16 teams. 7 out of the 8 final teams had Superior. You see that there's a Carbink here. Elephant's Flash brought that Carbink and finally shone with it. We saw another Carbink in the top 16 as well. So 2 Carbinks sneaking their way through. Carbink shown in Sacramento, now being brought again, giving us hope that people are going to start bringing or finally have their Carbinks built and are ready to play with it. Especially when we see things like Umbreon coming in strong with 2 battlers here in the top 8. Not just that though, 2 other battlers rocking that Mandibuzz. We saw Dunebug, World Battler, play with it in Sacramento last weekend, and now battlers are coming in with it, with 2 battlers bringing it. Mandibuzz is such a great Pokemon, putting on that bulk. We call it the flying Umbreon of the sky. There wasn't any Air Slash Mandibuzz, all Snarl type users, but I feel like if we start seeing more Mandibuzz pop up with more Umbreon, you might see Air Slash just for those mirror matchups, because they're real stale if it's Snarl on Snarl. That being said, Mandibuzz coming in strong. We've seen this pattern before. We saw it at the beginning of the season. Out of Pocket brought Superior to Peoria. And then in the next tournament, 2 more battlers brought it. Now it is a staple of the top 8. It is the new Trevenant. So it is absolutely strong. You see a Venusaur that snuck through in the top 8, and Elephant Flash absolutely knows how to play it as he lands just this matchup on Sludge Bombs with the Venusaur. So you knew what Elephant knew what he was doing. But besides that, Grass is taken over by Superior. Again, quick nods to little Sableye coming in and sneaking through. Powder Snow Slash was the only Slash that came through, as you saw the other Powder Snow user being the Frostlass. And Inadequates, you're a monster. We love ya. That is an amazing team you've got there with the Magnezone, but you do have very, very meta Pokemon there as well. You played it very well, so great with the Magnezone. A nod to Lille Regional Champion of 2022, Colin 6 for making it into the top 8. Unfortunately, got knocked out in the first round by Sandugo. Now we are going to go meet up with Miss HurricaneKaz as she's got her binoculars on and getting an in-depth watch of this champion's run.
In his first match of the day, Galaxtabolton's Powder Snow, Shadow, Alolan Sandslash is a good lead against Sandido's Lickitung, but Sandido's pivot into Frostlass means that Galactabolton will have to give up both shields early because Frostlass is the exact Pokemon his backline of Gligar and Medicham doesn't want to see. Protecting Shadow Alolan Sandslash with health and energy proves invaluable as the tanky Pokemon of each player's backlines chip away at one another until Galaxtabolton's Gligar just barely manages to outlast Sandido's Lickitung and is able to wing attack down the Medicham in a simultaneous KO. In the second match, Sandido uses his Frostlass in the lead once again, forcing 2 shields from Galaxtabolton's Shadow Alolan Sandslash. However, getting Frostlass out of the way once again proves invaluable to Galaxtabolton, who is able to use his Medicham Gligar backline to take out Sandido's Lickitung and Mandibuzz. Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash with energy and health from the lead paves the way to victory for Galaxtabolton in this first pairing, expertly demonstrating how giving up shields early isn't always the disadvantage it might seem if you know how to maneuver your backline Pokemon. In his second pairing against Inadequates, Galaxtabolton is quickly overpowered in the first match by his opponent's Shadow Magnezone. Galaxtabolton is forced to use shields to protect Sableye, but it doesn't prove as effective when Inadequates has his Aerial Ace Frenzy Plant Superior in the back to threaten both Galaxtabolton's Sableye and Superior without Aerial Ace. In match 2, Galaxtabolton gets alignment in his favor when revealing his Shadow Alolan Sandslash forces Inadequates to bring Medicham and is quickly met by Sableye. Sableye gets the last shield but is knocked out by Dynamic Punch, meaning Sandslash has a lot of work to do, taking out the Medicham and just barely managing to get the Ice Punch in time against Inadequence's Umbreon. In the deciding match 3, a neutral lead flows into a more one-sided mid-game, but Inadequence maneuvers his Shadow Magnezone into another overpowering position with enough health and energy to knock out Galactibolton's Lantern, Medicham, and then the remaining Sableye with just one Vine Whip from Superior. So in this matchup, Shadow Magnezone forces Galactibolton into the lower bracket. Great energy management is just one tool and doesn't always work against incredibly high attack damage. In the next pairing in that lower bracket against San Hudigo, Galactibolton once again uses both shields early to protect Superior in the mid-game, which allows the Grass Serpent to take a lot of health off of San Hudigo's Umbreon and get his Alolan Sandslash enough of an energy advantage to succeed. A great lead of Galactibolton's Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash against San Hudigo's Gligar in match 2 turns into another quote-unquote disadvantaged matchup against a Frostlass pivot. However, this allows Superior to come in and get some chip off of the Medicham as well as an attack debuff onto San Hudigo's Gligar when he attempts a catch. Galactibolton's Gligar sweeps the opposing Gligar off the field, and then Shadow Alolan Sandslash is able to finish off the Medicham. Maneuvering Superior and always throwing the move your opponent doesn't suspect allows Galactibolton to whittle down his opponent's Pokemon and advance in the lower bracket. The next pairing of Galactibolton against Les Sudois once again shows off the power of the double attack drop from Superior. Galactibolton able to use this to secure energy advantage and alignment without giving up 2 shields early this time. In match 2, Galactibolton once again saves his shield instead of spending and is rewarded for this flexibility, utilizing a Sableye Gligar backline to outmaneuver his opponent's adjustment to the Gligar and Toxapex. Meanwhile, Inadequence has lost the winners finals to secure a rematch against Galactibolton in the lower bracket finals. A neutral lead in the first match leads to clean alignment for Galactibolton in the backline. But in the second match, a great lead for Galactibolton turns sour when he has no answer for Inadequence's Umbreon. But Galactibolton holds on to his energy and manipulates the mid-game with his Sableye. Another neutral lead in the third leads Galactibolton to give up Switch in attempt to protect extra energy on Sableye, but Inadequence is able to take advantage of this and save energy on Superior, leading to a clean sweep of Galactibolton's backline with the energy plus a full health Medicham. In a potential deciding game 4, Galactibolton's Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash is once again set against Frostlass. However, Inadequence's catch of Drill Run onto Umbreon allows Galactibolton to control the switch and the rest of the game with great timing of fast-paced charged attacks from his Shadow Alolan Sandslash and Sableye. Galactibolton wins the lower bracket finals to face Elephantflashe. Another neutral lead forces the first shield from Galactibolton's Sableye, and a quick swap from Elephantflashe to Mandibuzz gives Galactibolton the opportunity to put on a lot of pressure with his Shadow Alolan Sandslash despite giving up those 2 shields early once again. And again, that energy advantage on his Pokemon allows Galactibolton to power his way through despite Shadow Venusaur and its massive amounts of Frenzy Plant damage. In the second match, Galactibolton is once again able to get massive energy advantage on his Shadow Alolan Sandslash in order to force both shields from Elephantflashe Shadow's Venusaur. This paves the way for Galactibolton's Gligar to sweep. Another Frostlass lead into Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash in Game 3, but Elephantflashe lets his Frostlass go in order to overpower Galactibolton's entire line with the speed of his Swampert and the charged attack pressure of his Shadow Venusaur. Game 4 proves incredibly challenging for Galaxcabolton as Elephant Flash calls his Shadow Alolan Sandslash lead with his Medicham and the pivot to Superior with Mandibuzz. Galaxcabolton's Gligar in the back seems promising against both Medicham and Carbink in the back, but shield advantage allows Elephant Flash to hold out and secure a decisive Game 5. A usually bad matchup for Galaxcabolton's Lantern against Elephant Flash's Swampert turns into Galaxcabolton's favor without Earthquake on Swampert. Lantern secures the lead, helps to whittle down the incoming Frostlass, and then Shadow Alolan Sandslash once again continues to chip away so that Gligar can win in the Battle of the Tanks against Mandibuzz in the back. Galaxcabolton resets the bracket to face Elephant Flash again in the Grand Finals.
Oh my goodness, in a best of 5, started off with a lucky Hundozation. That's insane. Now we're gonna take a look at the now Grand Finals. This is it. It's reset. There is no more loser bracket. Elephant actually first loss of the tournament. Can he regroup and get his mind back together, be able to battle this out? As we see in game 1, the Dynamic Punch Medicham still a believer in the A Slash though, and Slash is still doing great things for Galaxcabolton. Game 2, Ellie gets the lead and forces switch and gets the proc on proc. Oh my goodness, it was really insane. The procs that went off, there were 2 of them that went off. It looked like Leaf Tornado on Superior couldn't not proc for Galaxcabolton in the Grand Finals, as it came down to a game 4 with Swampert into Superior, and that is how it'll end out, as Galaxcabolton will end up taking day 2 and being your Grand Final champion for Lille. Congratulations to Galaxcabolton on an amazing run here. You did so great winning day 1, and to take a loss on day 2 and to come back from that and not give up, to fight the one who knocked you down and then go to the Grand Finals and reset the bracket. The journey was so long and you did it and won. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you, HurricaneKaz, on the amazing deep dive and the analysis that you broke down. I could see Galaxcabolton leading with that Sableye to draw out the Mandibuzz or the Frostlass and then bring in the Slash. It was such a great analysis done and a great team comp that you brought together. So thank you, HurricaneKaz, for breaking that through, and congratulations to Galaxcabolton for taking the W. Thank you to the production team and the casters for taking their time off this weekend. That including the TOs as well. Is an amazing run. I have quotes from both Amanda Lundberger and Adelian, and they both emphasize Leaf Tornado. No one expected Leaf Tornado to be so good, and they were so impressed by it. So thank you, Galaxcabolton, again for showing us that Leaf Tornado might actually be a thing with Superior. Thank you to Dracoviz for an amazing graphics. Appreciate all the graphics you guys put out immediately so we, the battlers, stay up to date. Stay up to date with all the information and relive all of that through Dracoviz, as they have all of the monthly regional recap, stream, bracket, all that stuff there for you. Click on it, rewatch the tournament there. Links down below for all that. Thank you to all the 176 battlers who participated and making it a fun weekend. It looked amazing. Congrats to all of you who got points this weekend. Congratulations again to Galaxcabolton for taking down the team. We got to see some incredible battles. Emmy Weedle versus Tauntaun was something we were excited about. Got to see that. So there was some great battles to rewatch. Be sure to check out all the action live, or as you can go through the Lille VOD. Thank you all for watching the PokeBattle Network and this regional recap. I'm SosaFlow, and like always, keep on battling.